So good morning. I'm Walt Davis. Along with Janice, we're going to kind of troop you through some of this. So if you want to be the chair for the awards committee, just hang around long enough and Bill Harris will come to you and say, hey, will you do this? And you'll say, what do I have to do? He goes, nothing. We just need someone to fill the position. Janice will do all the work, and you get any credit. So what we want to do is kind of run through a couple things. But first, let me just talk. Go to the first slide, and we can have that up, please. But let me just kind of talk procedurally. So the chair of the awards committee is composed of about 125 people. I've tried to email everybody, and so we have 125 folks on the awards committee, which means that we're able to muster, many of those when we do our voting. So really, if you look at the bylaws for Quad A, for the awards committee as well as scholarship committee, because we're kind of joined in terms of what our function is, really have four functions. That is, it is to vote the awards submissions for the national awards. So those that are going to be presented tomorrow morning, those will have been voted by your awards committee. And then also, I think it's the July time frame, that's when we have the scholarships, and so we'll do the voting for the scholarships as well. The kind of the mechanism that has been put in place, just so that you're aware, is in the January time frame. It is typically done face-to-face in the National Capital Region, where we'll muster the awards committee, and then we'll divide into two. Some will do voting for the functional awards for the national level on the organizations. Another group will do the voting for the individual awards, and that's how it's done. If you sat on a promotion board, it's much the same way. So it's a very fair and effective process, to be truthful. And then the same way in the July time frame at the scholarship level, you have one table of whether it's 20 to 30 folks, maybe more, voting for the undergraduates that are trying to work those scholarships to get in, and then those that are already in college, working for their second, third, fourth year scholarships. So that's kind of the mechanism for how it works. As you can see, many different awards. I talked the national awards, functional awards. What the committee is responsible for, at least to the national executive kind of level, is to provide some sort of oversight in terms of the standards with which those are reviewed. Then again, Hall of Fame chapter awards at the local level, Order of St. Michael's at your level there. Next slide, please. So just so for information, at the end of the day, recognition in the term of national awards for both organizations and for individuals is kind of, at least in my view, leaders' business, commanders' business. And so what we see is, at our level, at the board level, the awards board level, the national awards are typically pretty good. Varies from year to year. Some organizations are better at recognizing their people than others, and that's just the reality of it. And so just so you know, again, everybody is viewed at this, when they're all at the table, they're viewed the same way. So just because Unit X has been deployed for a gazillion years and Unit Y has not been, they're all viewed the same. So, and it's, again, I talked about the process somewhat. Functional awards pretty light. That's again something that encourage you all as chapters as best you can to influence the submission for those functional awards. And if I could, let me just, I'll stop at functional awards and talk real quickly. So this sequence doesn't change that frequently in terms of the functional awards and Hall of Fame. So 1 May is, and I'll jump to scholarships. 1 May is a deadline for scholarship submissions. Then you jump to 1 June, you have Hall of Fame nomination submissions, and that's what's due. 1 July, the ASE, the AMSO avionics depot maintenance, those that will be presented during the Cribbins, ALSE, ASE, combined symposium now at Redstone Arsenal in the November time frame. That's the timeline for that. So August, logistics, fixed wing, UAS, and then September, ATC, ASR, trainer and med, and then those are the ones that are done at the the Fort Rucker Commanders Conference in February. So that doesn't change from year to year. So those are the time frames. Get those on your calendar. You know when they're due. You don't have to get an email each time to know when. I mean, that's when they're due. So you have an awareness of that occurring. And then the Hall of Fame nominations, if I just could, we're going to see 3 great Americans, into the Quad A Hall of Fame on Friday night. And so what I would tell you is some of the nominations from our view need to come from to be submitted on more contemporary folks. Not that who's going there are old guys, but it's just, or gals, it's just, that's what we're seeing at our level. Next, please. This will be presented again tomorrow night. You can see the awards. We did this actually for the first time, and a great credit to obviously Janice and the team at Quad A. What occurred was we had a very good weather forecast and a very big storm in the National Capital Region where we were unable to go face to face, which was the first time ever. And so they beta tested an automated system, and we did automated voting for all of these awards this year for the first time. Next slide, please. Again, I reviewed some of this, the Cribben Symposium. You can see the folks that are done there, and then combined with up in the upper right-hand corner, the ASE Forum at the same time, done over the course of 3 days now. And then at now General Gaylor's Senior Leaders Conference that he'll do probably second week in February of next year. Those are the functional awards that'll be presented. Next.
The Hall of Fame, what we would like to see is more nominations, as General Davis said, in the contemporary and junior officers, a junior enlisted. It's not just a generals club, pardon me, but we want to represent everybody. And there are our junior soldiers that are doing some outstanding things. We want to see them recognized. So please don't feel that because it's a rank thing or you don't think it's significant. Submit the nominations because we want to see those junior soldiers recognized. Again, the deadline for that is June 1 of every year. The nomination forms for all the awards are on our website, so you can go to our website under awards and find the nomination forms. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email. You can always call the office and ask for myself or Corey Stokes, who is an assistant, and we'll be happy to help you in any way. So please don't hesitate to call. We want the nominations. We can't recognize your soldiers unless we have nominations. Next slide. Oh, yes, question in the back.
Yes, just a comment. I urge our National Guards and reservists to consider putting in nominations. We can't get a National Guard or reservist into the Hall of Fame without your nomination. We get very few of those. We need some more. We'd like to see some more. So please help us help you get into the Hall of Fame. Thanks.
Okay, so for the tape, for those listening out there in the world, we need to get more nominations from reserve components for the Hall of Fame. Okay, message received? All right.
So then we also have awards at the chapter level, which is in your hands as chapter officers. They're free. Recognize your soldiers. We have a soldier or an NCO of the month. Send us the form. Again, those are on the website, and they get sent to another POC in our office, Deb Cavallero. So what they get is they'll get a complimentary 1-year membership and a real nice plaque to recognize them. So it goes a long way for them to be recognized and for their hard work that they're doing. Then we also have the quarter, soldiers and NCO of the quarter and then of the year. And then we also have a program that a lot of you have taken advantage of this year that Barb McCann works, and that's the chapter-sponsored soldier that attends the summit. And they get, you know, lots of wonderful things. Barb takes great care of them, and they're treated like really special. So take advantage of those programs, recognize your people. It goes a long way for them supporting you in what you're doing on the local level. Chapter member, yes, and the DAC, yes. So, you know, we don't want to forget those folks either. On the chapter level also is the bronze OSM. So that's submitted, that's voted on by your chapter presidents, your chapter officers. What you need to do for that is you have to contact our office. You have to buy a 4-pack of bronze medals. Same thing with the Lady of Loretto's. You can buy those ahead of time, request them. And then when you award them, you send the information so we can keep track and put their names on our historic list so that, you know, they'll see their names on the list. We get calls all the time from people who have been presented these awards and then they go on our website and don't see their name. It's because we weren't fed that information. So please close the loop after you've presented it. Make sure you get the information back to headquarters so we can put them on their list so they're recognized in perpetuity. Next slide. Yes.
Our chapter has more than one brigade, so it's becoming a little difficult to do a month when there's several entities involved. Could we do more than one Soldier of the Month for each entity that we have involved? Would that make it would make it easier on us, but I don't know how it would do for you.
What I would recommend, if you would send me an email requesting that in writing, and I can push it up the line and get approval for you. Okay, that we'd like to recognize as many as we can. Okay, and then how to submit. I touched on that briefly. Everything is on our website. All the nomination forms are on our website. The packet for all of the awards, when you submit an award, there's the nomination form that needs to be completed. Please try to have all the accurate information, the contact information for the person being nominated, emails, cell phone numbers if possible. If they are selected, we like to be able to get in touch with them quickly. So the nomination form needs to be completed. There also needs to be a summary sheet, no more than 250 words. We try to keep this so everybody's being judged on the same packet of information. You know, if we have somebody that sends us a 10,000 sheet document, it's not fair. So we try to keep apples to apples. 250 words, you know, if it's 5 words over, it's okay. You know, but we try to really keep a hardcore on that. 1,500 word support document. The summary is like just the brief points to get the attention of whoever is viewing this nomination packet. The 1,500 word document is the meat of it. You know, you really need to give us why you think they are worthy of this award. So that's the meat of it. Then we also need a bio, a 1-sheet bio. If it goes into 2 sheets, that's okay. We don't want a 10-sheet bio. And then a head and shoulders photo. If it's an individual, a photo of the individual. If it's a unit, we're asking for the bio for the commander and the senior NCO, and the photo for the commander and the senior NCO. And no other information is allowed because it's not fair. So we try to keep everything fair so it's even. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, good. Next slide. So again, this is the OSM slide. Bronze is at the chapter level. I explained that with the 4-packs. The silver and the gold OSMs are boarded at the headquarters, at Quad A headquarters level. So those are submitted to Deb Cavallero again. We have a board that we really don't divulge who's on that board. We like to keep it, you know, kind of under, you know, we don't want everybody going to those people and like pressing them what a great person you're submitting. We really want these awards to be special. Okay, so we've tightened up on these awards, the boarding of these awards, so that they're not a retirement award. It dilutes the value for the people that receive a gold if a bunch of people are getting a gold because they're retiring. So we want it to be special awards. So for a silver submission, it goes to the Silver Awards Board. For a gold award, it goes to the Silver Board first. If approved there, then it goes to the Gold Board. The OSM, the Knight Award, is for non-Army aviation. So if you have somebody that's doing outstanding support of Army aviation but is not in the branch, excuse me, they would be eligible for that award. They are not eligible for the gold, the silver, the bronze OSMs. That's for Army aviation alone. And then the Lady of Loretto is for spouses that are doing outstanding work, supporting Army aviation. Next slide. Other awards? Yes, I have a question over here.
Can you define aviation branch, and certainly what did we do with our echo companies or our support companies? They're not aviation branch, but they are most certainly in my battalion and in my brigades. Are they fully qualified? So my quartermaster soldier is fully qualified for Bronze Order of St. Michael's, is that correct? I don't want to make misassumptions.
Bill Harris, can you answer that question?
So I have non-aviation MOSs and non-aviation soldiers and non-aviation companies in our structure. Could be at the ASBs, could be our echo companies. They're not aviation. Are they eligible for bronze?
I've seen some exceptions to policy. Generally, I'd have to look at the latest iteration that General Yellen did a couple of years ago. They tightened it up quite a bit to aviation MOSs. That's why they have the Knight Award, which I've seen go out as high as division commanders. The Knight Award is an Order of St. Michael. It's not a level per se, and I don't know what you guys have already briefed. It's not a level like above gold or below bronze or anything like that. It's for non-aviation that has done something extraordinary. That's why it's boarded at the national level. So it's not a problem, but the Knight Award is also not just, hey, I served with Lieutenant Snuffy for 6 months downrange, and he did a great thing, and so therefore I think I should give him the Knight Award. It's for a lasting contribution that's impacted the Army aviation community. So, I've seen exceptions where there's been bronzes submitted, or even silvers and golds for that matter, but it has to be very, very close tie to the community. So if you have a question on each basis, bring it to us and let us take a look, and I'll shoot it out to the Silver Committee and see what they want to do. There's two-tier process. There's a board of, I think it's 6 now, 7? 6 or 7 folks that are active, National Guard, retired, general officer, warrant officer, enlisted, that first vet those nominations for silver, gold, and Knight. And then for the gold specifically, they'll go ahead and push it up to the executive group if they feel it passes a certain level.
They have to be members of Quad A.
No, absolutely not. This is, the Order of St. Michael is established in 1989 or 87, I think it was 89, as a MOU with the Army as the branch award. The nominator has to be a Quad A member. The nominator, not the recipient. The recipient does not have to be. This is not a Quad A award. This is like the Order of St. George, the Order of St. Barbara, all that. You do not need to be. We've seen that. I meant to address that. We've seen a couple of chapters try and tighten up the requirements and say you have to be, and use it as a recruiting tool. That is a bozo no-no. You don't go, hey, you want a Bronze Order of St. Michael, join Quad A? Not. All right, you're supposed to keep this level at, what is the achievement that supported this community, the Army aviation community, for that soldier. If that soldier feels, or DAC or whoever, if that person feels warmly towards Quad A at some point in the future, fine. This is not an attaboy because you joined Quad A. This isn't your lapel pin. Okay, this is something that you've done extraordinary, and we're all about soldiers, not just Quad A soldiers. We're all about soldiers and their families, period. We would hope they see a benefit between networking, recognition, voice, and support, and what we do supporting the soldier and family, that they would want to join. But, you know, the days of gun to your head type stuff, that's over. Right, so make sure that that's promulgated. You do not need to be a member of Quad A to receive Order St. Michael. Or any award. That's all the same standard.
As a follow-up to that question, I asked this question only because I'm hearing debates in the last 24 hours at Summit. For the DACs that are some are instructor pilots, some are, they work at HRC and they do all of our gate audits, et cetera. Is a DAC eligible, or is it the DAC should go night?
Yeah. No, it's not just, you know, in uniform.
Okay, so Order of St. Michael can be non-uniform, can be DAC, but it must be someone closely associated to an aviation function or aviation MOS.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Because it's, you know, considered to be inside the Army aviation family. It's not, you know, literally an MOS, particularly obviously with the DAC or engineers or things like that.
Thank you. Dismissed. Okay, and then the only other, as a conclusion here, we have other awards. The President's Award, it's at the discretion of the Quad A President for somebody that he feels is deserving. Family Support Award that we present periodically. These are not all every year. It's just on as a situation comes apparent to us that somebody is very deserving. We also have the Keston Founders Award and West Point Cadet of the Year. Each year we're notified by West Point of their top ranching aviation soldier or cadet, and they are the ones that will receive that award. The ROTC award, we are informed from the ROTC command of their selection, and then we are just we just present the award with their information. Distinguished graduates, it's the training courses. We try to recognize those distinguished graduates. Next slide. And this is all the POC information for the various awards. Myself and Corey for National Functional and Hall of Fame questions. Deb Cavallaro in our office for all the OSM questions, the Soldier of the Month, NCO of the Month. And then Barb McCann for our chapter-sponsored soldiers that attend the summit. And do I have any questions? Yes.
I'm not familiar with the President's Award. Is that chapter president or is that the national?
No, that's at the national level. It's an award that is presented. It's the Quad A President's Award. So the Quad A President may decide to present that during his tenure.
Is the two charts back there, you had the summary, and you had listed there that the summary and support and bio are submitted in MS Word format?
Oh, yes. I do. Yes, I understand. I do. We do appreciate if you present, when you submit your nomination packets, if you present it in MS Word and not a PDF. We need to check those word counts. Sometimes we are playing with the documents to put our board books together. So we do appreciate if you would submit it in that format for us. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my point was, it seems to me when I downloaded it, they're on PDF.
That's just the nomination form. The nomination form itself is a user-friendly PDF. You can fill it in and submit it that way.
We'll talk about the 1,500-word supporting documentation. And if she hasn't said it yet, don't get 15 4-stars to send in letters of support because they're not going forward. So we'll submit one.
If you have for the 1,500-word support document, if you have recommendation letters, that's part of your 1,500 words. Okay, you can absolutely get recommendation letters, but that is part of that. You're using part of your 1,500-word section for those letters.
Yeah, keep in mind, you've got boards that are reading through hundreds of nominations, and, you know, their eyes glaze over. They want to be fair to everybody, but when you're going through hundreds after you're doing this for 3 or 4 or 5 hours, it gets old pretty quick. So try and keep, and unfortunately, you know, what I've seen over the years, or fortunately, a lot depends on how well you write this nomination. Get the best writer in your unit to write it. You know who does a fantastic job on this and has ever since Howard Yellen was adjutant over there is the 160th. When Howard's reigned as regimental commander, he made sure every single unit and subset submitted nominations for soldier, unit, you know, you name it, so that the numbers count. And they made sure they standardized the writing. So, you know, it makes a big difference. Most of the people reading this don't have familiarity with that particular soldier or necessarily that particular unit's accomplishments. How dramatic that thing is written, how strongly it's written, counts a lot towards whether it stands out from the crowd. If you're looking through 20 or 30 unit nominations for the same award, I've seen it usually go to the strongest worded, most dramatic presentation, and that's just human nature. All right, so make sure it's strong, it's factual, and make sure you've really got it tight and well written.
Just as a point of clarification, I understand the ROTC Cadet of the Year award, that name is submitted by Cadet Command, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay, so there are a number of organizations such as the Daughters of the American Revolution, Sons of the American Revolution, American Legion, VFW, that throughout the course of a cadet's time in ROTC present awards, and they are ribbons which are worn on the cadet uniform as the cadets progress. Cadets are branched, you know, kind of at the beginning of their senior year, and has Quad A considered approaching Cadet Command with an annual ribbon award to be awarded to an aviation branched cadet, which could also accompany a one-year membership that can get that level of recognition down to the collegiate level, to the college battalion level, that chapters could then go out and, you know, I'm Washington Potomac chapter, I assume we've probably got about 4 or 5 battalion level chapter or battalion level organizations within our area, which is a note to find out, by the way. And that would create an opportunity for us to go out and do those kind of presentations. Is that something that's been considered?
That has not come forward before having a ribbon, but you got a former Cadet Command commander sitting standing right
let me
there.
answer that, because I commanded Cadet Command, and I also started the presentation of the ROTC award at the institution where they are being recognized upon departure with the rest of their classmates. We used to give that award at Fort Rucker in January, February timeframe after they were already in flight school. So the point is they're already out the door. It's the day they're getting their recognition as the day they graduate or the day before. So to create a ribbon to be recognized as part of that, Wade wouldn't really be appropriate. But Cadet Command does pick or give Quad A the top ROTC cadet that's assessing in the aviation. That's how it's determined.
Yeah, but it'd be great to, instead of getting a one-time shot at what you're saying when they get the actual award, one of our executive group will fly out to the institution where that cadet is, present the Quad A award. But we could have gotten 6 months of visibility with a ribbon that's worn on the cadet uniform for that same thing, is what you're saying, right?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah.
That the possibility would exist. You know, a freshman student in the ROTC program may get the Daughters of the American Revolution Most Outstanding Freshman Cadet Award. That's I'm making it up, sir. Forgive me. It may not be the right name of it. But once those cadets are assessed during that senior year, there will be probably 1 or 2 award ceremonies that each battalion level will do every year.
Sure.
And you've got an opportunity to recognize the battalion's aviation assessed cadet with a potential award. Obviously, lots of research would have to go into that process, but just an opportunity for more visibility.
Barbara's taking a note, right, Barbara? All right, we'll follow up on that. Great idea.
Bill, Don Welland, Washington Potomac. I just attended my 50th year anniversary for OCS last weekend over at Fort Benning. There is now a OCS Alumni Association. Have we considered doing this for OCS as well as ROTC?
Geez, I don't recall anybody raising that.
I'd be happy to work that if you're
Yeah, that'd be
interested
great,
in
Tom.
doing that.
Dan Curry, Washington Potomac. I would also add on that Warrant Officer Candidate School, since the majority of the candidates coming out of Warrant Officer Candidate School go into aviation, that might be another option as well. And then with the membership that went along with it, another way to start encouraging membership.
Yeah, absolutely. Lead by example.
John Gallagher, Mid-Atlantic. The night of St. Michael came about 3 years ago, I guess, and I'm just wondering, is there any consideration of having that at the chapter level for approval? Because it would be easier for national and it would be easier for us, but with that 30-day period, just to be quite frank, a lot of people just don't plan that 30-day ahead. And I think it'd be easier.
There was some discussion about it 2 weeks ago. Another chapter raised it. The concern the executive group had is to make sure that is perceived to be a very, very high level, the equivalent of silver and gold type thing for non-aviation MOSs, non-aviation personnel. And, the number of bronzes that go out are in the 350 to 400 per year. Did you put numbers up there?
No.
Okay. It's about 350 to 400 a year, and next way down to about 75 silvers and 3 to 5 gold per year. I can't remember off the top of my head number of nights. It's in the silver range, maybe 50, 60 per year. But there was even discussion perhaps of tiering the night as is the Order of St. Michael itself. Would there be maybe 2 level? Would it be bronze and gold? Would it be bronze, silver, and gold? So, we're looking at that right now. But the initial reaction was we want to make sure that this is perceived to be a very high deal, that this is not just literally given out in the hundreds per year. On the other hand, you're talking about recognition, so there's kind of a mixed bag there. Don't you want to recognize people outside the branch that have done something extraordinary for aviation? That's where you probably get the tiering stuff in, but they're looking at it right now.
I just want to piggyback on something that you triggered. If you do submit for the silver and the gold, please give us the time that we request, that month out or whatever, because it takes a long time for us to get these under the silver board's eyes, and then for the gold, it has to go through another whole boarding process. So it's frustrating. We try to accommodate whenever we can, but turning something like that around in a week or two because you have a date that it needs to be presented, it's very difficult. So please try to get those in as early as you can.
Yeah, let me be more direct, guys. If you didn't know that a general or a colonel was retiring more than 72 hours before the retirement ceremony, I don't know what the hell planet you're on. But, we're jumping through different orifices trying to get this done for you, because at the end of the day, it's the actual soldier that deserves the recognition, right? So we want to impact that. But, when you're telling all these boards, I need 3 hours, I got to go get this thing engraved. We got to go drive it, 40 miles away and get it back, and then get it to FedEx and get it down to you. This is crazy. You're supposed to, I think it's 30 days for gold. I don't remember, maybe a little longer. But 72 hours ain't it. And we try our best to do that, because at the end of the day, it's the soldier that doesn't get the recognition. But it's not fair if you can give the staff a little bit more time.
Sergeant Major Cambry, Voodoo Chapter. My question is, you said that you buy the 4-pack of bronze. I've got a 4-pack of bronze. Every time I submit a bronze, I get a bronze from you guys, nicely engraved on the back of it, and I still have my 4-pack. And I pay for that additional OSM. I don't mind doing that because they come back engraved. Can I take the ones that I have and send them back to you all?
Well, that is not the way it's supposed to work.
That is not the way it's supposed to work.
First of all, I will go in there in my role as a conflict resolver. That will pop up in a staff meeting when we return. You're supposed to get a 4-pack. You're supposed to issue those locally. When you run out or you're close to run out, then you order another 4-pack. We ship you another 4-pack of the certificates and the medallions themselves. You will not get your next pack unless you tell us who received the 4 prior medallions. That's the choke point, but we are not supposed to be going each is back and forth, and you're paying whatever it is, $35 for each individual medallion. That's stupid. We're supposed to be getting it down to you so you guys can react on a local level at the bronze level very quickly. You know, I've seen where medallions haven't even been engraved because something popped up real quick, somebody's departing, and all that. But please don't do that at the silver and gold level. But no, you should not have to go through that exercise. You paid for the 4, you have the 4, you engrave them locally, issue them locally, and when you're getting short, let us know and we'll send you another 4-pack. You got that, Mark?
So I will be around. Please don't hesitate to call me or email me, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Okay, so submit your soldiers. We want to see them recognized for all their hard work.
Yeah, and I just, just to fall in on that, it is a major pain in the, to sit down and write 1,500, 2,000 words when you actually do it. You have a great idea. Oh, geez, how come nobody ever submitted Sergeant Snuffy? When you actually get down to it, it takes hours to do this stuff, pull the research and everything else, but it's part of your responsibility of taking care of soldiers. So take it seriously, and I can't tell you you're going to win. You got competition. You got 30, 40 files in there per category. But it's worth doing it, and there are great stories out there. So do what you can to take care of your soldiers.
Thanks, Bill.